It's all happening at once. Do you ever feel like it's all just happening all the time? I think that's what's happening. Hi, Deborah. Hi, Edith, Lori, and Joe. Joanne, how are you? Sue, always a pleasure. Great to see you all. All right, we got about 1 minute till the top of the hour. So, just kick back, relax. No big deal. What? Okay, no, we're going to start working right away because we've got a lot of ground to cover. It's funny, I got some of the inspiration for the email and the topic for today from a training I went to last night, because I still go to trainings all the time, free trainings, paid trainings. I have coaches, I have masterminds, like I get all the help I can possibly get because we can't do it alone and we don't know what we don't know, right? So I was on a training with one of my favorite teachers last night, and he was talking about expansion and contraction and freeze and flight in sort of a different way, but I sort of seized on the idea and put it in my email last night and made it the topic for this morning. And then I just sent them an email because I was like, it occurred to me that I just kind of swooped in and borrowed your inspiration. It didn't feel like plagiarism or anything, but I did want to acknowledge, I didn't exactly thank you for the light bulb moment. So thanks for the light bulb moment. Please tell me about your program that generates money in a short amount of time. I will do that, but let's start with our breathing, right? Let's center into this moment and thinking about the teachers and the trainers and the parents and the substitute parents and imaginary parents and other people who have guided us and taught us along the way. Let's bring them into this moment. Let's bring them into this gratitude circle, right? As we're all here together, we can bring in our friends that have helped us to get here. So let your belly go really soft. Loosen up your hands. Loosen up your jaw. If you're an Alexander person, get that Y buzz going. We're going to inhale for 4, hold for 7, exhale for 8, 3 times. You ready? Let's inhale, 2, 3, 4, hold, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Inhale, 2, 3, 4. Hold, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Inhale, 2, 3, 4. Hold, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That feels good. Thank you for doing that with me. I want to talk today about expansion and contraction, about when it is time to cuddle in, hunker down, shut the doors, turn down the lights, stay calm, and when it is time to take a chance to expand. Let me address Reverend Joanne's question first. She's asking, I think about a class I have called How to Make $1,000 Anytime You Want. I've taught it live a number of times over the years. Might be time to do that again sometime. But we have a really well-recorded version that we use as mostly a bonus for almost every program we offer. So it's called How to Make $1,000 Anytime You Want. And it is, in fact, especially designed to help you. Yes, you personally, exactly where you are, exactly with your life experience, exactly right now in your life circumstance, to figure out a way to offer something that will bring in at least $1,000 in the next 2 to 3 weeks. It's a short-term play. This is not meant to be like the rest of the business plan for the rest of your life, although it may turn into that. It's really meant to just generate some quick cash, because one of the things I want you to know is that as a highly creative person and a highly productive person, you are your own economy. You don't need to worry about what's going on out there. You can create whatever you want going on in here. So it's it's a very fun training. It's actually really good, even if you're just looking to sort of play around with some of your concepts around money. If you feel sort of stuck in your money story, I hear that from people sometimes. This training is a good way to kind of loosen some of the screws and open up your horizons, even if you decide to never take action. It kind of walks you in the side door, spins you around 3 times, and then like poof, you have a plan to make $1,000. I realize that sounds a little abstract, but it is. It really, yeah, like I said, it kind of comes in sideways. It's a little counterintuitive almost. But because of that, people get really extraordinary results. Like they're not thinking about it in the same way that they are usually thinking about money and making money. And, you know, I've had people absolutely make $1,000 in a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks. I had one person in particular who listened to the course 3 times in 2 days. She was on a long drive and she just listened to it over and over again. And she made $7,000 before the end of the week. Your mileage may vary. I'm not saying that's going to happen for everyone, but if you really soak in it and trust the process and are willing to try something new, it'll work. I mean, it's worked for years. It worked for me. So that's what that training is. And like I said, I think it's currently a bonus for, you can get it as a standalone program. There you go. But it's also a bonus for Get It Done Lab. And, you know, it's not too late to join Get It Done Lab. So for the same, you know, I don't know how much we sell that How to Make $1,000 program for, but Get It Done Lab is less than $500. And you get How to Make $1,000. You get 21 days to get out of your own way. You get, and we're only, I think we have our 3rd session tomorrow. So we're not like so far in that you couldn't catch up. So that would be my advice, is to join Lab. And then you're with me twice a month and you can ask me advice and, you know, we can talk about your results and I can help you make course adjustments if you need to. Saturday, not tomorrow. Thank you. Right. Tomorrow's Friday. Right. Because it's Thursday. Because this is our Thursday live. I got it now. Okay, good. Lori, go ahead and type into the chat. I'm eager to hear what your question is, if that works okay for you. Let's see. Hi, everybody. So yeah, so this training I was on last night, and I was thinking about this concept of expansion and contraction, and we know that there's a natural ebb and flow to the world. And especially when there's a lot of uncertainty in the world, the major news outlets, the conventional wisdom loves to tell you contract. You know, oh, a recession is coming. Oh, global war is coming. Oh, economic disaster is coming. Oh, climate disaster is coming. Like, batten down the hatches. And while I'm a big fan of being prepared, like I love a full pantry, I love a nice big savings account, I love good lines of credit, like I like having options. I like being prepared so that if disaster strikes, I have options. And that's really what money gives you, is options. It doesn't get you too much more than that. Comfort, sometimes, time, talent. But the big thing about money is it gives you options. But as far as I'm concerned, I feel like they're kind of trying to keep you scared, right? Because when you are scared, when you feel like there's a crisis, then you keep having to tune into the news to find out what the next crisis is, because you don't want to be unaware of the crisis. So everything sounds like a crisis. And this is one of the products of the 24-hour news cycle, right? Things that we never even used to hear about before are all of a sudden front page news. And while I love the globalness, global worldview, Weltanschauung of that, I don't like getting stressed out over things that I have absolutely no control over, right? So, and I always question, like, is it actually worse than it's ever been? Because I think about the things people are saying, like, oh, you know, the economy is terrible. It's like, well, people have been saying the economy is terrible since I was a kid in the 70s, you know, and sometimes it's been more demonstrably terrible and other times less, but I know that there's still rich people and there's still middle-class people and there's still poor people and people still struggle. Some people still struggle. Some people still succeed, right? I noticed that businesses still grow and close. I noticed that people still buy all kinds of stuff all the time, right? So, you know, what's true on a macro level may or may not be true on a local level, or certainly on your own personal world level, right? And that's one of my favorite things, when people are like, oh, you can't do that. Oh, you can't sell a program. Oh, you know, you guys may know I'm actually, for the first time, offering one-on-one work with me and a small group mastermind, both of which are kind of spendy, like they're not cheap, because I want your attention and I want to make sure we get full value for you. And you'll hear people say like, oh, you can't sell high-end offers now, like in this economy, no. And I'm like, that's not my story. So I offer that to you if people are trying to sort of threaten you with, oh, that can't happen now, or that'll never work, or people don't have that kind of money. Like, that's not my story. And I notice that it's none of my business how much people have or don't have. Like I said, I notice people buy things all the time. $30,000 jet skis, $10,000 purses. I actually have my eye on a $4,000 purse, I have to confess. I haven't bought it, but I'm thinking about it. So that's one offer I have for you. It's just, that's not my story, right? But there are definitely times to contract, right? When you're ill, when you're wounded, when your heart has been wounded, when there's a new baby, when there's time, when you're having a new relationship, even, like, there's often times for intimacy to, sort of close some of the windows and doors and say, you know what, we're not letting too much in here. We're gonna go into the cave. We're gonna turn down the lights. We're gonna be quiet for tonight, or for the weekend, or for this season, or for this year, right? And that's a really honorable form of contraction, right? When you just go, nope, you know what, my body needs to heal. My spirit needs to heal. I need to be here with this person who's healing. So I'm curious, but then there's also the sort of false contraction. Like I said, getting scared, getting touchy, getting somebody says something and you're like, oh, maybe I shouldn't. So what are some of the thoughts that make you contract? What are some of the thoughts that turn you from like, hey, I have an idea, to, oh, maybe I shouldn't do that? What are some of the thoughts that tie you up in knots? Lucy's here. Hi, Lucy. Isan Sabir, lovely to see you. Isabella says, exactly. I remember seeing footage of kids doing drills with sirens in the 50s and we're all still here. Exactly. Sue says, I don't know how. Right. I don't know how. Oof, shut down, contract. Right. What else? What else pops up in your mind and makes you feel like, oh, I can't possibly? Edith says, when you're taking care of a loved one who is or has been ill. Right. Yeah, that can be a totally legit time for contraction. Unless you're using it as an excuse. Right? So there's that, you got to be really super duper honest with yourself. Am I hiding by helping out this loved one who's ill? Or am I really honoring this time and this path for me? People don't get me. Right. What's the use of putting it out there? Nobody gets me. Right. Will it work? Right. I don't want to put a lot of time and energy into something and then have it not work. That would suck. I want it to work. Yeah, good. So whether you're playing along or just watching the recording some other point in time, write down for yourself, what are some of the thoughts that stop you right in your tracks and make you feel like, I probably shouldn't. The one I hear all the time is, I don't have the money, right? I can't do that. I can't afford it. I don't have the money. Jane says, fear. Excellent. Fear of what specifically? Right? Because there's all kinds of fear. What kind of fear? Self-doubt. Yes. Fear that I won't be able to deliver on my promise. Yeah. Good. So notice the feelings that come with these thoughts, right? It feels kind of sticky and yucky. Oh, I don't have the bandwidth, right? I won't follow through. Excellent. I love how honest you guys are. This is my favorite thing about working with people who are really committed to growth and change. So now I want you to go ahead and take a piece of scrap paper, or if you're me, an index card, and we're going to do our little 90-second process. I want you to make a little 90-second drawing of what it looks like when you are contracting, when fear of failure sets in, when I won't follow through sets in, when I don't have the bandwidth, I can't afford it, I don't know how to do that. When you're having that thought, just dropped a Sharpie onto my own shirt. Okay, saved. What's the thought? I mean, what does it look like? What is it? And you can use just stick figures. This is not about making art. This is just about getting what is in your mind around all this fear and anxiety. It's just about getting it onto a piece of paper so you can have a slightly different perception of it, perspective on it. So I'm setting this for 90 seconds. And just grab whatever pen you got. Again, stick figures, shapes, colors. What does that fear, what does that contraction look like? How do you feel when that contraction sets in? Everybody clear on what we're doing? Okay, there's 90 seconds. And I'm going to do it too. What does it feel like when that contraction sets in? Again, don't worry about what it looks like. It doesn't need to make sense to anybody. Nobody's ever going to see it. Just what is the feeling or the vibe of what happens to you? Can you draw what the feeling of what's happening is? What does it look like? What shape is it? Got about 30 seconds left. I'm kind of digging this. And there it is. That's 90 seconds. So I just want you to take a look at what you drew, and does it in fact capture? And just as drawing a dark, impenetrable cocoon. Yes. I drew, for those of you who know, I recently moved from California, and when I lived in California, I used to swim in the ocean all the time. And as we know, one of the first rules of swimming in the ocean is never turn your back on the ocean. So my fear is of getting eaten by a giant wave. There's little me saying, help, help. And there's these big ocean waves about to catch me up and tumble me around. Good. So we do this obviously just to get another insight into what's really holding us back. Like, what's really the anxiety about? Is it really a lack of money? Is it really a fear of failure? You know, am I likely to get eaten up by a giant wave? Probably not. Anna says inward spiral leading to a small dot. Leah says just a flat line like DOA. Right. Right. So we can see how it is really hard to make something happen in your life, to change your life, to change your bank account, to change the trajectory of your life, to change your relationships when you are in a cocoon, flatlining, inward spiraling, under a blanket, getting eaten up by waves. Like, it's not going to happen. Deep transformation is not going to happen when you're getting eaten up by a wave, right? Good. So now, what are the thoughts that you have when you are expanding, when you're willing to try something new, when something is beckoning you, when you have a new relationship or a new project that you're interested in, or you get a new job offer or a windfall, or just somebody says something lovely to you and you start to think like, oh, maybe I could do XYZ. Yeah, June says I'm lying face down in bed with the covers over my head and I'm saying, go away. Yeah. And again, you know, for recovery, that time can be really important. I don't mean to say that there's never a time for that. There's definitely a time for that. But sometimes we do it when it's not actually called for, right? That's what I'm trying to parse out here. So if we think about, and maybe the easiest way to do this is to imagine, how would you like to expand? Like, what is in front of you that you think, oh, that would be really great if I could hire a virtual assistant? That would be really awesome. That would really help me expand. Or if I could raise my prices, that would really help me expand. Or if I could be in more galleries or get more readers or have more subscribers to my email list or visit with more people, just have more friends, more of a social life. Right. Rosalind's contractions circle with a dot bouncing around without an exit. Right. Again, that sense of being trapped. Right. So where is your opportunity? Maybe you want, oh, I'd really love to work with Sam one-on-one, or I'd really love to be in her mastermind. That would feel really expansive and cool to me. Like that would be I would love that. So thinking about maybe some invitation that is before you, what are the thoughts that would lead you to do it? Like, oh, if I could double my money, if I could invest, whatever it is, $10,000, $20,000 with Samantha and know that I was going to get $30,000 to $100,000 back, that feels very expansive. Oh, if I could, go to a new gallery and know for a fact that they would really love my stuff and they would take me on right away, that feels really expansive. The success is assured, sort of, right? Right. So what are some of those thoughts? And now let's go ahead and draw what expansion feels like, right? What does expansion feel like? And remember, expansive thoughts are peaceful thoughts. They're creative thoughts. They might make you giggle a little bit. Like, ooh, how could I take, what sexual energy could I bring to this? What creative energy could I bring to this? What wacky, fun energy could I bring to this? What would, who could I invite into this circle? How could I make this more zhuzh, That's what I'm looking for with the expansion thought. So I'm going to set this again for 90 seconds. And I want you to draw, what does it feel like when you are wide open, when your heart is open, your mind is open, opportunities are everywhere? What does that look like on paper? There's our 90 seconds. What does that look like on paper when we are calm and expansive, delighted with ourselves, interested in the world? And again, stick figures are fine, colors are fine. Just what is the way, how does it look on paper when you feel like, gosh, life is great. I can almost do no wrong. Everything's so fun and exciting and things are going my way. And even if it doesn't work, I'm still excited because I'm learning so much or I'm doing so much. Yeah. What does that feel like? Just doodling along here. Good. How are we doing? 9 seconds left, people. I love doodling with markers. It's like actual magic. There we go. That's our 90 seconds. And I'm curious what your vision of expansion, relaxation, newness, fun. Anna says, arrows pointing out in every direction, a star. I wonder what is possible. Oh, I love that. Sue says, an overflowing medicine basket. And Joe says, weightless, effortless, in a busy field surrounded by helpers. Yeah. Leah says, I haven't felt expansive or excited in so long, I can't even picture it. It's like a dot on the distant horizon. Yes. Leah, I know that feeling. Isabella says, butterflies. I love it. Yes, I drew me sort of full size, taking up the entire index card, and just with like the charismatic light bulb is on. I got the Riz, baby. And then just like stars and hearts and just feeling sort of silly and plain and yeah, and like going off the page, right? Going off the page. And I wanted, okay, so you notice the flip inside your body? Like I can feel it, talking about the constriction, talking about the hiding, the under the covers, the fear, like, oh no, what if I do it wrong? What if I fail? And then the expansion, the delight, it sort of tickles me, the sense of like, I don't know, who knows what's going to happen? But I've lived this long. Shirley says, a day in the sun with a new puppy. Oh, that's perfect. Exactly, Shirley. Exactly. Lori says, lots of smiles on top of the building. Sun is shining and flowers are blooming. Right, right. So where do you want to be making your decisions from? Right? And again, acknowledging that there is totally a time for contraction. There is totally a time to shut the windows, batten down the hatches. I've lived with depression and anxiety my whole life. And I will tell you, there were times that was it. That was all I could do was rest. I've had long haul COVID for the last 14 fucking months. I'm so much better now than I was, but just the other day, I had a boneless day. I couldn't get out of bed. There was no expansion that day, only contraction. So I'm not trying to contraction shame you, but I am trying to say, I want you to bring some consciousness to your contraction or expansion and look at some of those automated thoughts or those thoughts that have been planted by the outside world of like, oh, there's not enough money, or, oh, you might fail, or, oh, that's risky. And instead introduce you to this place of expansion that supports creativity, right? Nothing new ever got created in contraction. Let me say it again. Nothing new ever got created in contraction. But even old things are made new in expansion. So when you lift your face up so that the success can find you, so that the sunshine can find you, so that the moonshine can find you, you start to see new possibilities. When you open yourself up to the mystery of, I don't know where the money's coming from, but I know I will find it because I've always done it before. I don't know where the next opportunity is coming from, but I am open to it. My eyes are wide open. And now I just thought of that person I could call. My heart is wide open. And now, oh, look, my friend from high school is texting me. The truth is relaxing. Expansion is exciting and relaxing. It's joyful, it's tickly, right? So I invite you to keep maybe these somewhere where you can remember, like, oh, am I making decisions from this or am I making decisions from this, right? And just says, I love these new words to describe contraction and expansion. No judgment. No judgment. Life is a cycle. Life, this is my friend David was talking last night about, there's the law of rhythm in the world, right? Like we know this, there's nothing wrong in the world. You're not doing anything wrong. Rosalind says, a line that flows around a page going anywhere it wants, in circles, lines, anything, everywhere. Oh, I love that. That's delicious. So if you are into this idea of expansion, if you are interested in working with me more closely, I would love for you to just fill out the application. There's nothing for sale. You can't buy it right now. You're going to fill out the application. I'm going to look at it. We'll see if it's a good match. If it is, awesome. If it's not, no big deal. There's even a place where you can say like, nope, just dreaming. Thanks, Sam. Don't reach out to me, and I won't. Here, let me give you the link. Here's the short link. Okay. Apply to work with Sam here. And if we feel like it might be a good match, then we'll just get on the phone and have a little chat about it. No pressure. I'm not selling you anything. If it's not right, then it's not right, and we're not going to do it. If it doesn't feel, Brennick says, oh, you beat me. It was a race to see who could get the link first. I wasn't sure. I knew I had it up on the Google. So good. Does anybody have any questions or thoughts? Anything that this brings up for you that you're like, oh, wait, now that I'm thinking about it this way, what do I do about XYZ? What's bubbling for you? Yes, June says a boneless day can feel really lovely. Time to dream. It's true. And I was very careful not to make a big story about, oh no, now I'm worse. But one of the things I know about recovery from COVID and long COVID especially is that it's not a straight line. It's up and down and up and down. And I was like, I'm not catastrophizing this. I'm not making this a story about how I'm always going to be sick. It's just for today. And it was in practice probably a day and a half, but nevertheless, today I feel fine. So there you go. Let's see. And she says, feels so good to climb out of my 3-month cocoon. Thank you. Yeah, it's a good time. I mean, we are starting to bend. Those of us in the US and the Northern Hemisphere are starting to bend a bit towards spring. Winter's not quite over, but we can start to see the edge, maybe. And it's one of the pleasures of being here on the East Coast now. In California, spring is very subtle. The shift from winter to spring, the light changes, but here the trees are still really stark and the ground is gray and the sky is gray. But we're getting there. We're getting to spring. So if you would like more support than you're getting, please think about applying to work with me closely. And if your only concern is money, then I definitely want you to apply, because I'm very good at helping people find the money. If money is the only reason, we're pretty smart people. I'm sure we can find the money. How do you go from contraction to expansion? Well, that's a sort of a following the sparkly breadcrumbs thing, right? Notice the things, maybe even keep a little journal for yourself, keep a little log of like, oh, I spent 20 minutes playing Candy Crush and that did not feel very expansive. I spent 10 minutes talking to my friend at work and that did feel I did feel more cheerful after that. Cuddling with the kitties, that brings it up, going for a walk, that brings it up. And yeah, it's just try to entice yourself out of the cave a little bit. See if you can, you can see my paint by numbers behind me. I love my paint by numbers. I find those very expansive to do, even though maybe other people wouldn't think of it that way. But it's going to be different for every person, right? The conventional wisdom may not work for you. But just start to notice and keep maybe doing this kind of journaling. Like, what does it feel like? What does it look like? What does the inside of it feel like inside of you? And can you even just open up with your arms wide open? Can you lay down and look up at the ceiling or look up at the sky, watch the clouds? Yeah, I guess my answer is to turn that question back to you and say, well, the question is, how do you move from contraction to expansion? And if you can't, then maybe it's a time of contraction and that's okay. Stop trying to pretend like you're going to wake up all yippy skippy, be like, nope, closed for business. Sorry, check with me, answer cloudy, ask again later, and then do the contraction things, rest, eat good food, watch favorite movies, reread old books, do the things that give you solace and nurture, right? The quiet times don't have to be a nothing time, right? Lori says, I always feel expansive when I'm here on the Thursdays. Thank you, darling. Or in the Get It Done course, etc. I've been seeking out the same kinds of people around me here, and it's working. I feel expansive. Yeah, other people are a great way. Get in rooms with people who are better tennis players than you are, who are smarter, who are making more money, who are faster, have more connections. Like, don't be the smartest person in any room that you're in. If you're the smartest person in the room, find another room. Veronica says, in the act of finding the money is for some the first exercise in expansion. Well, that's 100% true. In fact, the first time I enrolled in a really high-end program, it was like over $20,000, plus it was going to be another easily $10,000 in travel. And I didn't have it. I absolutely didn't have it. I didn't have it in an IRA. I didn't have it in a savings. I didn't have it. Not only that, I didn't know where I was going to get it. I didn't have a plan. I didn't have a business model that would bring in that kind of money. But I knew it was where I needed to go. I knew it was where my business needed to go. I knew I needed to be in a room with people who were up to big shit like that. And I just thought, I just gave them the American Express card and I was like, I'm just going to make this work. And I did. It turns out I do really well. If you put a big goal in front of me, if you say, Sam, you need to make $20,000 by the end of the month, I'll do it. I'll do it. And I won't stop until I do it, which is kind of the secret to doing it. Because, once you're looking for it, it's not that hard to find it. When you're not looking for, when you're actively not looking for it, when you're like, no, it's not there. No, I don't have it. No, I don't have it. No, I don't have it. Well, then you're never going to find it. But when you're like, nope, I have need of it. Therefore, it must be somewhere. Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Oh, look, a private program. Oh, look, I could sell this. Oh, look, I could make this adjustment. Oh, look, I could do this. Like, you start to see, it's the thing your brain is best at, is finding what it's looking for. And sometimes I think they could have just charged me that $20,000 or $30,000 and left me alone for the year, because that investment in myself, I'd never taken myself that seriously before. It sent such a profound signal to myself of like, you're worth it. We're doing things. Let's do this. And I was like, oh shit, apparently I'm serious. And it did. I mean, I doubled my business almost right away and doubled it again before the end of the year. So, you know, again, your mileage may vary. I'm not saying that that's the story for everyone, but it sure worked great for me. So I invite you into that conversation. What would feel expansive for you? Sue says, sometimes I need to give myself permission to move to expansion. That's right. And Joe says, reading the new seed garden catalog starting to arrive. Ooh, that's awesome. I love that. Rhonda says, if it's fear of money, definitely apply. Why? Because money is like the easiest thing to solve. Money is the easiest thing to find. There's money all over the place. And it's not that hard to get. And I mean, that's just me saying that. You know that to be true, right? There's an infinite amount of money out there. I mean, I guess it is a finite. If we actually were going to count all of the dollars, we would eventually get to the last dollar. But for our purposes in our lives, there's an infinite amount of money out there. There's an infinite amount of ideal clients. There's an infinite amount of opportunity. You have an infinite amount of creativity and skills to bring to the world. So I don't find it very difficult to find a connection between these things and bring the money into you. And I'm happy to do that if you're serious about investing. And again, even that how to make $1,000 anytime you want. Originally, the name of that course was how to make $10,000 anytime you want, and nobody bought it. And my friend said, Sam, it's because no one believes it. They don't believe they can bring in $10,000 anytime they want. So I made it $1,000, but you can make it for 10. You can make it for 100. The angels don't know from decimal points. It'll work regardless. Sue says, I'm going to France this summer exactly because I know it's where I need to be. Huge questions remain about how. You know, this is like every creative project. You don't know the how before you start. How could you possibly know the how? You've never done it before. All you know is the what, right? So you commit to the what, and then you start working, and the how reveals itself as it rolls out, right? June says, money is just an idea. The government can create $1 trillion out of thin air. Why not us? Well, exactly. Beth says, the angels don't know from decimal points. Thank you for that and everything. It's true. And they also don't know from decimal points. The angels don't appreciate dust, and they don't know decimal points. All right, I've gone a little over time, but I get really excited about this conversation. So, because I know what you all are capable of. I know what you can do when you step outside and let's call it your uncomfortable zone, because you're not really very comfortable in your comfort zone. You're uncomfortable in your comfort zone. So let's step out of it. Let's see what's next. Let's see what the, even just a moment of expansion, even just a moment of prayer, of willingness. Creator, show me where to go. Show me who to help. Show me what to do. I can't wait to see what happens. Come next week and let me know what happens, okay? All right, let's do one more breath. You ready? And there's the kitties. Whoops. There you go. Let's inhale, 2, 3, 4. Hold, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Thanks, everybody. Thanks for being here. Go expand. Mwah. Or contract, whatever works for you. Okay.